Hi and welcome to the latest of my macrame tutorials. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make one of these macrame flower or daisy keychains. I've chosen to use a carabiner keychain. If you wanted to though, you could use this design for just like a bag charm or a luggage label, and you could attach your name to it if you're going on holiday. You can use it for lots of things. I'm just going to show you how to do the basic design. So what I've got today is I'm working on my cork board, as I usually do, with my pins so I can secure my work. I have got a keychain, ring and the carabiner. I've got a tape measure, I've got a pair of scissors, and if you've seen my tutorials before, you'll see that I use the Fiskars razor scissors. I've also got a pet brush, which I use should I want to fringe the bottom of the keychain out. I've also got some beads. Now, however many beads you need is however many flowers you decide to do. You can see here that some I've done 2, so I'd only need 2 beads, whereas these I've done 3, so I'd need 3 beads. If you wanted to make it longer, then you would just use more beads. And the colours I'm going to use today, I've got a bright yellow and I've got a white, so this is going to be like a daisy chain. Okay, so you grab all your things you need, get yourself a cup of tea, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so I've got everything I need. I'm just going to move these out of the way now. I think these are so pretty. So I'm just going to move the ones that I've done out of the way. So I am left with now my keychain ring, and I'm just going to pin that so that holds it secure. Okay, I might need to add another pin in a moment. And I have cut myself 3 lengths of cord that are 1 metre 50 centimetres. So that's 150 centimetres, or if you are in inches, it is 60 inches. Okay, so I've got 2 lengths of my petal colour. Okay, so in this case, this is the white. Okay, so I've got 2 separate lengths of 1 metre 50, and then the colour which I'm going to do is the yellow, which is for in between the flowers. I've got 1 cord of 1 metre and 50 centimetres. Okay, so you need 3 cords, 2 cords that are going to be your petal colour, 1 cord that's going to be your in-between colour. Okay, so if you need to do that now, and I'll meet you in a second. Okay, so we're going to attach our petal colour cords to the key ring with a lark's head knot. So to do that, I'm going to make sure that the ends meet, and then I'm going to work my way back as I usually do to the other end, and I've got a loop. Then that loop is going to go from the front through the key ring. Okay, so we've gone from the front, now we're at the back. Now we're going to open this loop, grab the 2 cords and pull them all the way through, and that is our first lark's head knot. Okay, so now I'm going to repeat that with the second cord. Okay, so make my ends meet, go back to the other end, okay, through the loop from front to the back, open it out and pull those 2 cords through. Okay, so these 2 cords are our petal colour cords. Okay, the yellow cord that I've got now is our in between, our filler cord. Okay, and it's going, obviously, as the name suggests, it's going to go in between each of the flowers. So again, we're going to make the ends meet, go back till we find the loop, but this time we're not going to attach it with the lark's head knot. We are going to make this a square knot cord. So that centre point goes behind those 4 cords, and then you just put them out, so you've got one out to the right and one out to the left. Make sure these are all flat. Okay, and now we're going to make just a regular square knot. Now ordinarily we would have just 2 holding cords, but for the purpose of this, the 4 cords in the centre are going to be the holding cords. Okay, so I'm going to do my L. So to me that's an L, some people see it as a 4. Then my right hand cord, over, under, up and through. Okay, and then I just hold that steady with my thumb and pull that up like that. So that's half of the square knot done. Now I'm going to use my right hand cord to make my P. To me that's a P, but leave it alone. Then take the left hand cord, goes over, under, up and through. Okay, so we're coming from the back. Okay, now that is one complete square knot, and I'm sure if you're doing this design you will have had some previous knowledge of macrame knots. Okay, so you can, as I've done here, just do 1 square knot. If you want to, like I've done on this one, I've done 2 square knots. It's entirely up to you, okay? But for now, I'm just going to do 1. Now I'm going to do the first part of the first flower. So like the top petal, if you like. All right, so we're going to end up with like 1, 2, 3, 4 sort of like vertical cords. Okay, and to do that, we put our petal colour cords in the middle. Make sure they're all lying flat. We don't want them to overlap. Okay, and then the outer cords, we're just going to make cross. Okay, so again, this is sort of like my L loop, if you like. And then here I've got my P loop, and you can see how now these are crossing over here the top of the petal cords. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to take the left hand 2 cords and I'm going to take it over, and we're going to go through this L loop. Okay, so from the front to the back, and I'm not going to pull them all the way to begin with. Okay, there's our first set of cords done. I'm going to repeat the same on the right hand side. Okay, so I'm going to take them over both of these yellow cords, through that P loop, and then pull them back. Okay, and there we go. Now at the moment you might think, oh God, look, this is a bit messy, but believe me, what we're going to do is we're just going to gently pull the filler colour cords, then pull your petal cords, and what will happen if you just do it gently either side, you will see that they just roll up to the top like that. Okay, and then if you just pull the colour ones like that, you will have 1, 2, 3, 4 sort of like vertical cords, okay? It's sort of like a roll, if you like a barrel, okay? And if yours looks a bit wonky, it may be because you have not pulled them equally. So one side's a bit shorter than the other. If that's the case, just loosen it and do it again. Okay. Right. So that's the top part of the petal done. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to find the centre two coloured cords. Okay. So these are my petal cords. All right. And I'm going to get one of my beads and I'm going to just thread them through that hole in the bead. Now these beads are 6mm holes, which are an ideal size for this project. If you've got the kit, these are the ones you've got in there. Okay, now those centre cords, we're going to leave those for now. They're not going to do anything, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to do 2 double half hitch knots on the left hand side and then 2 double half hitch knots on the right hand side, and these are going to be the petals. Okay, all right, so we're going to have 1 2 1 2. All right, so this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to hold my filler cord and I'm going to take my working cord in my other hand and I'm going to go over, then I'm going to bring it under and I'm going to pull it through this loop. Okay, so there's my first part of the petal. For the second part of the petal, this time we're going to go under, we're going to go over and through the top of that white cord. Okay, and what you will see happens is, there you go, we've now got like the bump on the left hand side, so that is 1 double half hitch knot. Okay, I'm going to repeat that again using exactly the same cords. So I'm holding my filler cord, my working cord is going to go over, under, through and pull it all the way. So the first part is over, then the next part is going to go under, bring it round, over and through the back. Okay, so that is the 2 left hand petals done as I'm looking at it. Okay, right, I'm going to repeat that on the other side. So my filler cord is my filler cord, whichever one you're using as your filler, is your holding cord. Your petal colour is your working cord, over, under, do that again. So it's going to go over, under, up and through. And then I'm going to go under, over, up and through. Okay, so there's 1 petal on the right hand side done. Over, under, up and through, and then under, over, up and through. Okay, so there's my 2 petals on my left hand side and my 2 petals on my right hand side. Okay, right, now my filler cords are going to go on the out, and then my holding cords are going to come in the middle again, which are my petal cords. Okay, you can spend a little bit of time wiggling these if you need to straighten them up. Okay, I'm going to cross these again, just like we did at the top here. Cross these, and then these two over, up and through. Okay, and then the right hand two over, under, up and through. All right, then this is where you tease them both equally, just to make sure that they're not getting too tight on one side. And there we go. Now there are going to be little gaps in between. That's absolutely fine, because that's just the nature of the design. You can just use your finger and wiggle them, and there you go. Okay, so now you have got one complete flower. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring those centre 4 cords together. Then I'm going to take my outer cords and I'm going to make another square knot. So L, under, over, up and through. And then P, over, under, up and through. And there we go. All right, so we've got a square knot, a flower, a square knot. Now again, if you wanted to do another square knot here, you can, or if you want to move on to another flower, you can. So I'm going to repeat that in exactly the same way as I have done for the first one. Okay, so we're going to start with the top 4, and to do that we cross, over from the front and through, over and through. Okay, pull them gently together, making sure that they all sort of stay an even size. Okay, so now centre 2 cords, and I'm going to feed another bead through, and we're going to carry on as we did with the double half hitch knots and the bottom of the flower. Okay. Okay, so I have now completed 3 flowers, and I've done a square knot underneath the 3rd flower. I'm just going to spend just a minute or two just pulling these cords just to make sure it's all nice and secure and tight. Okay, as I say, if you want to make this longer, then that's absolutely fine, that's your choice. But what we're going to do now to finish it off, so I'm just going to unpin this here. Okay, and then we've still got some quite long cords. It doesn't matter which colour you choose, but I'm just going to cut off one of the longer cords I've got, which is the white. Okay, and it's probably about 25-30 centimetres. Okay, and we're going to do a gathering knot, or you may have heard it called a wrap knot, because as it does suggest by the name, it wraps it all together and it gathers it together. So one end, bring it back about 8-10 centimetres. You've got a loop. Now the loop needs to be pointing down, okay, but we also need one of the ends, that little end, to sort of just lie over the flower. We need to leave this exposed here. Okay, now the trick to this is holding it all together tightly, and with the longer cord you're just going to wrap it round everything. You need it nice and tight, about 3 or 4 times. You can do longer if you want to, as long as you do not go past that loop. Okay, so this is the long end I've been wrapping. Now I'm going to put it through the loop like that. Again, still holding it all together. Do you remember this little end we left exposed at the top? We're just going to pull that, and what will happen is this loop will go underneath that wrap knot and it will be hidden. Okay, and then you just use your fingers, there you go, there you go, just to wiggle it, and then with a little bit exposed at the top, snip it. If you've got a little bit that you can see, just use the end of your scissors to push it in. Okay, and then you've got your wrap knot. All you need to do now is just decide how long you would like your tail to be, if you like. I'm going to go there. And you can either fringe it out by using your pet brush, or you can, as I've done on this one, just tie little knots. It's entirely up to you. Okay, but I think what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to wiggle that. A bit of wiggling makes it all flatten out and seem better. And I'm just going to brush that out with my pet brush, which is, if you're one of our annual subscribers, you will have one anyway. It will have been in one of your previous boxes. If not, a comb or something will do. I might take a little bit of brushing, turn it over there. And you can see with this cord, it gives like a really nice fringed effect. Okay, then once you've done that, if you want to, you can neaten it up by just doing one blunt cut. And there you go. There you have a daisy chain keychain, which, as I say, you can use for many things. I am going to have a go at doing a plant hanger with, so I will start my plant hanger at the top, but I will start with 6 of the cords that are going to be my petal, and so the plant hanger will have 3 strands, and I'm going to make a row of petals, flowers that way. So do look out for a tutorial for that. But yeah, you can do these in a wall hanging design. You can, well, there are so many uses, it's very versatile. And then you can just, like say, spend a little bit of time just wiggling it so you're happy that they're all sort of like the same. And there you go. Right, I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. If you have, please click like, leave a comment, and to keep up with future tutorials, please hit the subscribe button and make sure your notification bell is on. And I look forward to seeing you for the next one. Okay, bye.